All right, I promised that I would do a video on the tragedy or comedy card game. Let me show you how this looks. It's a great little game. Come on, show me. Come on, straighten up. Sometimes it doesn't work. But anyway, it's a great game. It is a card game. Here are the cards. They look exactly like the box. The game can be played many ways. There are certain supplies you get when you get this. Or, no. When you get the card game, you have the box filled with a number of cards. I don't know how many cards, but it's a pretty significant amount. I also have about 15 sitting on my table because I'm going to explain some of them. You also get with the game a printing of the instructions on how to play. There are a number of ways to play. You can use dice to play. I do not. But basically, I want to read what it says. Ramp up the drama and the fun with a hefty dose of tragedy or comedy. Transform any review session into a rousing game of chance that keeps all your players guessing until the very end. Will the outcome be a tragedy or a comedy? No one knows until the last card is turned, and it's different every single time. This is not telling a lie. It's true. This game is so fun. Here's how I play it. It's a review game. You can review any strand. All you need is a list of questions, and the number of questions determine the number of rounds. Or you simply say, we're going to do 20 questions, and you go, and each question, you do a check, a hash, whatever those four, and then the one that goes across, what are they called? Whatever those little slash marks are. So as to keep up with the number of questions, because this game can go on. Kids will want to play it all day. So you have to be careful because it will go on and on and on. You can play by time, you can play by number of questions, or you can play based on the number of questions that are in an area. For example, if you do words aptly spoken, the number of questions in however you do 3 chapters in the book, you can use that to play this game. So here's how a round goes. A question and an answer. That's one round. All right. You ask a student, you divide the class into half, into 2 teams. I use the board because I want everybody to see the score, and I'm usually the scorer. If I have anybody visiting my classroom, I'll let that person visiting be the score taker because the score is incredible. It can be rather big. And usually what I do is have them do it on the board. Okay, so here's how it goes. You have your review questions. You ask, you use the dice if you want to, or you have a random number operator on your phone, but you choose a number, hide it, have each team decide what number. If the one closest to it gets to go first. All right, let's say team A is first. The first person on team A or anyone on team A can answer. You ask the question. I have my phone timer. You really won't need it because they'll blurt out the answer as quickly as possible. If they get the answer correct, then you, as the controller of the card, will pick the top card. When you pick the top card, you do not show it. You give that student an opportunity, or you give the team an opportunity to pass or play. If they choose to pass, then whatever is on this card is then applied to team B. If team A chooses to play, then whatever is on the card is what they get. And in this case, lose 200 points. So what that means, in my case, is at the beginning of the game, they're in the negative 200 already. And everybody just goes, ah! And the opposite team goes, yay! And then that is the end of the round for team A. Each round is both sides gets to play. So that's how it goes. You ask a question. The team who gets the answer, the team you're asking gets it right. Then you pick up a card. You don't show them the value of the card. You ask if they want to pass or play. If they play, then whatever's on the card applies to them. If they pass, whatever's on the card applies to the next team. That's their turn done. Then you go to the next team. When you ask them a question, the same thing. Now, here's the cool thing about this game. Here's what makes it so fun, so incredibly fun. The cards. You start with 0 points, by the way. The cards have the most unusual, I've never seen the parameters of what happens when you pick a card than in this game, which is why I like it so much. And it's really why it's called tragedy or comedy. Lots of laughter, lots of, oh, it's really cool. All right, there's a sudden, let me show you. All right, there's a steal a player card. In other words, if a team gets this card, they get to steal a player from the opposing team. So what that means is the teams are no longer balanced, but you keep playing for the number of rounds that the game is already prepared for. So you steal a player, and the team that gets to steal the player chooses the player that's stolen. You can play favorites. It's the only time playing favorites is fun. Here's another one. If a team gets this card, here's what they get. Roll the die. Lose 100 times the number of points rolled. That's when you roll the die. And that's why I only use a die with 6 numbers on it. If you use a 12-sided die or a 24 or 30-sided die, it can be horrible. So 6 times 100 would be 600 points lost. That is how it's tragedy or comedy. You don't know. The one who is playing and getting all the correct answers could lose the game because of what they pick out of the deck. I love it. Here's my favorite one. This card is physical challenge. This is what makes, this is how you have to add to the game. So you're going to have to add a dice to the game if you play, because dice don't come with the game. And if you get, since there is a physical challenge card, then I only make a few. I've made 1, 2, 3, maybe 10 physical challenge cards. Here's what mine are, and I've come up with them out of my head. 15 jumping jacks for 15 points, and they're small points. Stand on one leg for 30 seconds earns you 30 points. Jog in place for 30 seconds earns you 30 points. Name the 7 wonders of the world for 100 points. That's not a physical challenge, but we're calling it physical. They have to use their brain. 5 points for each push-up. So if they can do as many push-ups as they can do, they get 5 points for each one. And of course, when someone has to do push-ups, the kids are going 1, 2, so they're really into it. Name all the 7 dwarves for 40 points. That's a physical challenge. I may put while hopping on one leg or while rubbing your belly and patting your head. I may edit that. Here's another. Name all the reindeer for 50 points. You got 30 seconds. Tell us what Mach 1 means. Mach 1. What does it mean? 50 points if you can do that. How many rings are around Saturn for 35 points? So this review game has other review built into it. But it's all from foundations if you get a question that's a thinking. And then 20 high knees fast earns you 20 points. So that's the physical challenge card. Let's keep going. Take another turn card. This card says take another turn. So you literally get, that same team gets to do the next turn. All right, multiply your points by 1. That's so dumb. And that's exactly what the kids say. Oh my gosh, that means absolutely nothing, Miss Red. That's the tragedy. I love this game. I do love it. I love it. Win 500 points. Great comedy. That's the tragedy and comedy. Multiply your score by 1. Okay. Win 200 points. And that's another one. Here's a tragedy. Lose 1,000 points. So we go into the negative if they don't have 1,000. Here's another one. Divide your points by 10. Oh my goodness. Win 500 points. Let's see. Roll the die and get 100 times the number of points on the die. I think I already said that. Here's one. Round down your points to the nearest 1,000. So you're rounding down. So tragedy or comedy. It is a fantastic game. Oh, here's one of it, another favorite. Switch points with another team. If there are only two teams playing, because you can divide it. If you had a class of, now I'll be honest, I had a class of 12 last year. I divided it by 2 again. You can divide 12 by 3 though and have 4-man teams. So can you they would be like, don't switch with us, don't switch with us. Lose your next turn. There's another card. Lose 200 points. Win 300 points. Give half of your points to another team. Oh my gosh. Here's one I love. Add 3 zeros to the end of your score. So this game is hilarious. Now, in the event you choose to play the game until for, let's see, there are other cards that are included that I have not mentioned. I want to just, there's so many cards. See, these are all the cards. So there are quite a few cards in the deck. It's a big deck. It's not 54 like a regular deck of cards. It's more like, I don't know, 65, maybe 70 cards. And there is a bonus deck you can buy to add to this if you've played it so much that it's getting old. It'll be a long time before I need that bonus deck. But at any rate, here are other cards that are included in the deck that I have not mentioned. Sudden Death Final. The teams answer questions in rounds. Eliminate any team that answers incorrectly. What that means is if you have 2 teams, the first incorrect answer is the team that loses and that opposite team win. The last team to answer a question correctly is declared the winner. Here's an alternative way to play the sudden death round, which is there's one card in here that says sudden death final, and that's what you do. Here's an alternative way to do it. Only one more question is asked, and then the game is over. So that can end the game. I have not gotten the sudden death final card yet. So we always do it for minutes. All right, here's another card that's new. It's an immunity card. It's not new. I didn't get to it in the deck. It's called Immunity card. The team gets immunity from the next tragic card, whether it's drawn by them or passed to them. Steal a player. I mentioned what that is. Switch points with another team. Take another turn. Mystery envelope. This is the second edition of the game. I don't have the mystery envelope. But what it means is the team chooses from one or more sealed envelopes containing points lost or won. A challenge of some kind, points won or lost, a challenge of some kind, or any other consequence the instructor deems fit. So I don't have that one. Then you've got Wipeout from the second edition round. All scores are reset to 0, but the gameplay continues until the number of questions already decided are played. Physical Challenge. The instructor provides a physical challenge. It says that's a second edition one. I may have the second edition cards because I've got the physical challenge cards. But I did have to make my physical challenges up. The instructor provides a physical challenge appropriate for the class. Sit-ups, planks, balancing a pencil on the nose, hopping around the room on one foot, etc. And then Team Shuffle. I've also got that one. All teams are dissolved and reformed based on an arbitrary factor. Here's some arbitrary factors which I love. Eye color, birth month, middle initial, matter of opinion, left hand or right-handed, or any other arbitrary factor that you can choose. Cracked tooth, glasses or no glasses, short hair, long hair, whatever, height. I think my class would get mad at me if I did that, but I do have that card. The winner is the team with the highest points at the end of the game. The instructor may determine the end of the game at their discretion by time, number of questions, or any other method. And then the instructor is the final arbiter of the rules of the game and may change the rules at his or her discretion. I absolutely love it. There are also modifications for playing the games. You can add or remove cards as needed. You can keep students guessing which cards are in the deck and how many cards of any type there might be. You can add mathematical operation dice to the mix. When asked to multiply or divide points, first they must solve the equation rolled. And then last modification. Instead of 2 teams, try 4 teams of 2 or individual play. Modify the cards to suit as you go. Such a great game. I highly recommend this. This game is good for school, for reviewing. It can also be applicable at a party. I'm so grateful that I took a chance and ordered these, having only seen other people's posts, what they said about it, and then just finding the cards. And I do plan to get the rest of the pack because this game can be used in so many different settings, not just review. And your class will love it if you choose to get it. This is not a sponsored video. I wish it were though, but that's okay. It's a great card game. Tragedy or comedy. Get it and enjoy, review. Your kids are going to do it. They're going to love it. All right, until we meet again, shalom, shalom.